Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to another episode of Tuesdays with Terrence. Let's go and make it live. Let's go and make it live. Hope everyone's doing well. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh man, what's going on with Instagram? Instagram is acting funny again. Let's try to get it. Well, it won't go on Instagram. We can try it. There it goes. Go live. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to another episode of Tuesdays with Terrence. My name is H. Terrence Bardui. Some people call me H. Some people call me Havis. Some people call me Terrence. Some people call me Mr. Bardui. If you're from the 767 Whitey Kubuli, the Commonwealth of Dominica, tall is her body, the enclave of Point Michel, St. Luke's Parish, a.k.a. La Pointe. You call me Luca Boy. Dominica made me. Boston raised me. Now the South sustains me. How are you beautiful people doing tonight? Hope everyone's doing well. Hope everyone's doing well. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you? How are you? Let me make sure I'm streaming on my different platforms. Make sure I'm streaming live and in direct and in person. Let's double check. Make sure it's coming on. Yes. I can see that it's on already. People are starting to tune in. So if you're on, say hello so I can say hello to you. Whether you're on WhatsApp, well, not WhatsApp, sorry. Yeah, you can see it on WhatsApp, but you have to go to YouTube or from WhatsApp, right? Whether you're on YouTube, LinkedIn, X, formerly Twitter, Instagram, where else? Facebook, Bardui Financial Service, or regular Facebook. Wherever you are tonight, say hello so I can acknowledge you. Welcome, welcome. Good evening. Beach Goodwill, how are you? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you on the show. I'm glad that you've been working hard at your job, so you're having that time to tune in a couple times. But thank you so much for tuning in tonight. And all the others who are watching, if you say hello, I can acknowledge you. If you're watching and I don't know who you are, I really cannot acknowledge you. So I do see it. Let me say good evening. I'm going to go on my page and say good evening to everyone. I'm going to say good evening while people are starting to tune in. Good evening, all. And welcome. Let me say and welcome so people can feel a little special tonight. All right. So I'm doing that. Welcome to another episode of Tuesdays with Terrence. I have a good show planned for you. Every Tuesday, I have a great show planned for you. But tonight, we're going to talk about a phenomenal event we had this past weekend. Some of you celebrating St. Paddy's Day. Some of you are in Irish, but I don't know if it's an Irish thing or if it's a Catholic saint thing or whatever. But I made a post about that. Don't ask me what's St. Paddy's Day if you're celebrating Black History Month. But anyways, that's neither here or there. How are you? How are you? It's also March 17th is a special day for moi. My favorite daughter. Out of all my daughters, my favorite daughter, today's her birthday. She's the big 3-1. And I'm going to send this. I'm going to tell someone I'm live. I am live now. I will check it later. I am live now. I will check it later. All right. So how are you people doing? While we're doing this, let's play our theme song to get started. And then I'll give all my accolades, to who I need to give accolades to and move right there. Let's get the theme song queued up as usual. Where is it? Yeah, there it is. Let's get it queued up. Let's try it. Yeah. Good evening. Welcome to Tuesdays with Terrence.
Dominica made me. That's where it all began. Island breeze, coconut trees, the heart of my plan. From the hills and the smiles to the songs of the sea, that island spirit molded the person I'd be.
Ow!
Boston raised me with its hustle and grind. City lights shining, dreams stones intertwined. In the heart of this town, I found my way. A licensed financial pro, ready for the fray.
Here we go, here we go.
On the snowy streets, learn to stand tall, navigating life, every rise, every fall. From the commons to the brownstones, I made my claim. With every lesson learned, I embraced my name. Boston raised me with its hustle and grind.
Yeah.
City lights shining, dreams intertwined. In the heart of this town, I found my way. A licensed financial pro, ready for the fray. Now the South sustains me with its warm embrace, a community of strength and love in every space. From the bayous to the beaches, I found my place. In this journey of finance, I've learned to chase grace. Dominica made me, Boston raised me high. The South sustains my soul as I reach for the sky.
Yeah.
With every sunrise, I'm thankful and free. A licensed financial pro, just being me.
Yeah. Here comes the outro, one of my favorite parts.
So here's to the roots that shaped who I am. From Dominica's beauty to Boston's Grand Slam. In the South I stand strong, with purpose and pride. Together with my journey, side by side.
Can you imagine if I could sing, yo? If I could sing, I would have tore it up. And I was talking to someone today. I consider my little sister, and they had called me for my advice on something that they do as a chaplain. And I was telling them, man, you have your strengths. And for me, there's certain strengths that I don't have. I can't sing a lick, all right? I can't sing. But my confidence is second to none. You know, don't ask me to come and sing at your church because I can't sing. Don't ask me to sing special music at my church. I can't sing, but I'll sing the hymns. I'll praise and worship. I get it in. Confidence is something that comes from within, right? And wherever you are, you need to embrace it. Embrace it. And that's what I try to do. Ain't nobody going to steal my joy. So that's how I actually do it. I just get my confidence in and I just get it in. So for those of you who are tuning in, welcome to Tuesdays with Terrence. I don't know where you're watching from. I could say I've already said a welcome to Beach Goodwill who's watching tonight, and anybody else who may tune in a little later. Welcome to Tuesdays with Terrence. Let's see what markets did today. I hope it was up because I'm in the process of doing a rollover for a client of mine, and if the markets are up, that's good for them. If the markets are down, oh yeah, it was up a little bit. All right, and the NASDAQ was up a little bit and the Dow was up a little bit. So that's good. That's good. Hopefully they did this transaction today to get it up a little bit. But you know what? Get financially fit. But before we do that too, for some of you today wear your green to work. You know, some of you did that. You know, it's St. Patrick's Day. In Boston, they call it St. Patty's Day. And they have Boston, Massachusetts has one of the largest St. Patrick's Day parades in the country. I think it might be even bigger than New York or Chicago, but they have a huge, huge one. But Boston has a large Irish enclave. You know, there's a lot of Irish descents. South Boston, had a lot of Irish folks, and every year they have the St. Patty's Day parade. And I remember as a child, you know, as a child, a teenager, 13, 14, 15, like I mean, they saw it on TV, but black folks didn't really go to that really. But now it's more of a melting party. I see Hispanics, African Americans, Asians, East Indians, everybody. That's good. So they're celebrating over the weekend. They had a big one, so that's good for them. But today, I I don't care about St. Patty's Day. I care about March 17th, 1995 was when at the New England Medical Center in Boston, Chinatown, my beautiful princess, Miss Dominique Rochelle Bardouis, was born. And, for those of you, if you go on my Facebook page, I posted a couple of pictures. She looks just like her daddy. Maybe I could put one on my email again, and you guys can see it. But she looks just like her daddy. And if I was a chick, all right, if I was a chick, that's what I'd look like. And actually, I'm going to email this. Let's see if we'll go through both of these bad boys. I'm going to email it to me, and then maybe I could show it. Let's Bardui, Bard. There it is. I'm going to call this Dominique, Dominique. I'm going to say happy birthday. I'm going to sing happy birthday to her. I talked to her today. I told her she's 13. You switch it around and make it 31. And she said, laugh out loud. She's going out with her friends in a boo this evening, probably going on a karaoke. And I told her, man, I wish I was there. But, it's her birthday. Let her enjoy herself, right? But I'll get to see her eventually, and we'll celebrate. But let me show you guys what I was talking about. Is that it? Leave Studio, share screen. Let's see. No, was it this one or that one? It's this one, I think. Let's try. If I can share it. What the page is. Share the screen. Nah. I was going to try to share my screen so you guys can see the picture I was talking about. But this bad boy is acting up. So we ain't going to do it. We ain't going to share nothing. We ain't going to share nothing. It's acting up. And whenever you want to share or show something, oh, there it is. Share screen. Let's try it. Share screen. Let's go to our email. I'm going to share this and make it here and put it there. Let's see if it showed up. I send her an email. There it is. All right, let's show you guys. This one? No. Let's show the other one. This one? You see that? You see that, guys? This beautiful princess right here. You see that? It's her birthday. It's her birthday. Go, Dominique. It's your birthday. Isabel Joseph Cabon, Sakafet, how are you? Good to see you. This is Dominique Rochelle Bardouis. Those of you who don't know, Dominique is named after Dominica because the French way of Dominica is Dominique, or they may say La Dominique. So she has a French name, Dominique. Her middle name is French, Rochelle Dominique Bardouis. In Dominica, we say Badwill, but it's Bardouis. So this is the princess right there. It's her birthday. She's 31 today. So that's my favorite daughter out of all my daughters. Okay, I don't care what all my daughters say. She's my favorite daughter. My favorite daughter. So she looks just like a daddy. Happy birthday to her. Kind of excited about that. And let me see. See if I add another picture here. Let's see if it'll work. It may or may not work. The second one. Nah, we're not going to do that. Connect. Let's see. Nah, it's not going to work. We'll just go with what we had. And hold on. Go back. Click on it. There it is. Happy birthday to you. I sang it already this morning. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Nikki. That's a nickname we call her, Nikki. Happy birthday to you. May the good Lord bless you. May the good Lord bless you. May the good Lord bless you. Happy birthday to you and many more. There's a bunch of other people that I know. It's their birthday today, but I ain't gonna sing them all happy birthday. Everyone who's celebrating the birthday today, happy birthday. If you come on the show, I'll acknowledge you. But my daughter is the one who's getting all the love and the dedication and all that stuff, right, on her birthday. So yeah, man. Yeah. Someone just texted me on WhatsApp and said, "Your baby." That's right, my baby. Yep, my baby, my baby, my baby. So now we can stop sharing and get back to the lecture at hand. Hold on. Stop sharing. Get back to the lecture at hand. All right. So, yes. Hey, Alvin Varsar. Today's Alvin's birthday as well. Happy birthday, Mr. Alvin Varsar. How are you? 21 today? Happy birthday to Alvin. Happy birthday to Alvin. Happy birthday, dear Alvin Varsar, who's watching Tuesdays with Terrence tonight. Happy birthday to you and many more. And everybody else who's watching who has a birthday or a family member who has a birthday, happy birthday to you as well. All right. So I got my birthday wishes in. We see the markets are up. And for those of you who have, who've tuned in, welcome to the show. Let me know if you're watching, where you're watching from, so I can give you a shout out. If I don't see you on the line, I really can't give you a shout out. Let me see if I see anybody. There's nobody on Instagram. Everybody's on Facebook, or it might be a YouTube, wherever you're watching from. Put something in the chat so I can give you a shout out. I can't shout you out if I don't see you. I see 3 people shout out, so I gave them a shout out. So for those of you who are watching, welcome to the show tonight. How are you doing? How are you doing? I was checking something. Let's see on our banners, right? March is Women's History Month. It is. We have that on there. Okay, cool. Yeah, March is Women's History Month. And this past weekend, we had a great event at my church. Let me see. I can probably put another picture up so you guys can see about what happened at the church. We had one of my business partners, Ms. Sharice Richards. She came down to Petersburg, Virginia, and we had an excellent event. Let me put this up here for a minute so you guys can see her giving me a little accolades. Let me push it up so you guys can see. And what we did was, it was Family Life Ministries of my church. We had a Family Life Day, a Women's Day, and we basically, recognize women. We all have a woman in our life that we can acknowledge. It might be a mother, a colleague, a daughter, a sister, a grandmother, a friend, a girlfriend, whatever. We all have a woman that we can acknowledge in our life. And she was there. And good evening, Melinda Frazier. How are you? Good to see you. Stefan Badwill, Louisiana. That's all right, Stephen Badwill. That's awesome in Louisiana. I'm glad that you're watching in Louisiana all the way. How was the weather down there in Louisiana? Did you guys have any bad weather there with the tornadoes last night? Let me know. Put it in there real quickly. Let me show you guys. Let me share real quickly. Share my screen real quickly. Let's see my email. I'll go to my email and share that. So we're gonna go to my email. That's my daughter. Today is her birthday. For those of you who came on late, Dominique. You see how beautiful she is? Yeah, my favorite daughter. Out of all my daughters, she's my favorite. I don't care what the others say, but she's my favorite daughter. And she's today's her 31st birthday. I'm so happy. I'm proud of the woman she's become. We had a great conversation today on the telephone. She's down in the ATL. But this is my business partner, Miss Sharice Richards, and that's me, introducing her, and she's giving me a little accolades. We had a great event, and for those of you who want to see what she talked about, she talked about getting out of debt, and she put a great spin on it. Actually, I've had some. I've spoken to some people about it. I had 2 appointments today from this event. And by God's grace, everything will go great. She came down, her husband came down as well. And for those of you who go on my page, you'll be able to see it from Saturday. And those of you who can't find it, DM me and I will be able to send you the recording, because we stream lived it on YouTube and on Facebook on Tuesday. She has a great way of sharing the good news. She came down, she did that. We had a great time this past Wednesday. And actually, my goal is to take it on the road. I spoke with her. There's a lot of, I'm Seventh-day Adventist, for those of you who don't know, there's a lot of Seventh-day Adventist churches in Virginia and in Maryland and New Jersey and Delaware and DC and Pennsylvania. And, so we're going to see how we can get to take that story on the road, because America has a crisis right now. If I ask you what is the debt in America, some of you will say, "Oh, I don't know." Well, it's 37. I'm going to stop sharing. It's 37 trillion, $38 trillion, 38 children. I'm going to do something special. A client is calling me. Watch this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to take a call. Watch this on the show. Good evening. How are you, young lady? You're okay? Please do that, because I'm lit. And that's right. I am literally doing a podcast right now, and I get off at 8:00. So we can talk around that time. I'm literally doing a podcast, but we have great news, and I will share it with you. So congratulations. Okay. Oh yeah, that's right. You had a right. We'll talk about that tonight. Oh yeah, that's right. You did tell me that. Yes, ma'am. We'll do that. We'll do that. So we'll talk around 8:00. Okay. Blessings. All right. Bye bye. Bye bye. Yeah, there was one of my clients who got approved. We talked about getting out of debt, and she just got approved. Actually, I'm so excited for her, because what we had contemplated on, they try to rate her up, but you know what? I fought for her, and she got approved, and she's okay, and everything is fine. So she'll be, God forbid anything happens to her, all her debts are covered, and by the time this program is over, she'll be debt free. So she just called me, and I usually don't do that, but I just did that intentionally on the call, so you guys can see that I'm always here helping people. Thank you, Melinda, for Dominique's birthday blessings. I will share that with her. She's I always tell you guys, if I look like if I was a girl, that's what I'd look like. I mean, don't imagine that. Don't imagine that. Imagine long hair, pretty eyes, beautiful voice. She's soft and unlike me, but she looked just like her daddy. All right. And don't get me wrong, with her quietness, she's very powerful, highly educated, and but she's there. So I'm excited for her birthday. She has some plans, with her friends and her boyfriend. So we'll see what happens then. I hope I'll get some pictures from that. But anyways, getting back to the lecture at hand. So those of you who are watching, how did you fare in the weather? That bad weather we had yesterday. I think the kids had no school. Man, it was very windy. Actually, today I went out to pump some gas and I had to run a couple of errands. It was kind of cold out there. And I saw something that came through my phone that there's supposed to be snow, parts of Pennsylvania, New York, certain parts of Virginia, but not around here. But it's kind of cool. Right now, the temperature is, let's see. The temperature right now is, it's about 38 degrees where I'm at, 37 degrees where I'm at right now. Overnight, it'll drop to like 26. By 5 a.m., it'll be 26 degrees. Tomorrow morning, when I'm up to work around 8, it'll be about 28 degrees, man. This weather is bipolar. Check this out, right? High was 45. Tomorrow going to be 45. Thursday 57. Friday 65. Saturday I'll be out of town. It says 71. Sunday 81. Monday 72. Back to Tuesday 49. This weather is bipolar. But guess what? Friday is the first day of spring. Are you guys excited? The first day of spring is Friday. We went to fall. We had a lot of snows. For those of you like in New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, New Hampshire, Vermont, Maine. I have people who watch from Canada, Toronto, and Ottawa. You all got a whole bunch of snow. Aren't you glad that spring has sprung? Spring has sprung. So, but dress warm. Don't be like me because I caught a little cold because that day I went to last Thursday, I think it started snowing and I went outside to make a video and I had no undershirt on, man. And I got a little sick. But last Wednesday, it was like 90 degrees. So I'm not complaining. I'm taking it as it comes. Taking it as it comes. All right. So tonight, we have a good show planned for you tonight. We're going to start talking about it in a second. But March is Women's History Month, and we always have to recognize women. So for all the women, and I want to make it very clear, 80% of my clientele are probably women. Of my clients are probably women. I haven't done an official count, but mostly women are my clients. I've had some women who are clients who allow their stuff to lapse, or I've had some women clients who died, who passed on, but most of my clients are women. So most people who watch Tuesdays with Terrence are women as well. Most people who comment on my posts are women. And let me tell you, I grew up with a mother, 6 sisters. So I've always been around the ladies. And I believe men sometimes their egos will not allow them to want to watch the show sometimes. They think they know everything. But we have Alvin Varsa who always watches the show, So I want to give him his props. Today I have Stefan Bardui watching all the way from Louisiana. So I hope everybody's weather is doing okay wherever you are. I don't know where you are, guys. If you tell me where you are, I just want to make sure that you guys are protecting yourselves from the inclement weather. So let me share some information with you guys this evening. Let's see. Okay. We got nobody on Instagram, so I don't have to acknowledge them, and that's okay. That's okay. Part of there's a scripture that I posted something about a scripture today on social media. Oh, yesterday I posted it, and let me go to it real quickly to make my point. And this is very, very important, folks. It says here that in Luke chapter 4 in the Bible, verse 24, it says in the NIV, "Truly I tell you, no prophet is accepted in his hometown." So that's, that was Jesus talking, right? About how people often don't appreciate the ones they know personally, and how he was rejected in his own town of Nazareth, right? In the Bible, his hometown. So it's the same thing with what I do. As a licensed financial pro, I have clients I've never met, ever. I have a client who's a medical doctor in New York. I've never met her. Schenectady, I think she's close to Schenectady. I've never met her. She saw me. I was a guest on a podcast once in 2020 during COVID. And, she's part of the church I belong to. And she saw me talking about some concepts. She reached out to me. Remember during COVID, I was down in Savannah, Georgia, delivering a get out of debt program for one of my clients in Florida. And I was supposed to go to Florida, but during COVID, we were driving, not really flying. Didn't want to get anywhere close to people. But we met down there in Savannah. And while I'm with my client, I get a call. I don't recognize the number. And then I let it go to voicemail, and then the person says, "Hi, my name is such and such, and da 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 da. I saw you on the program. I want to reach out to you." And after my appointment, I called that individual, and we spoke for a while, and we scheduled an appointment, and we put some stuff in place for her and the two children. All right. Now, and again, this woman's a medical doctor. She's high income earner. However, she reached out to me. Now, there was another lady who we became friends on Facebook. Some people I became friends on Facebook. Either they friend me, I friend them. I don't know. Maybe we know some people in common. And this one woman reached out to me and she said, I've been watching you, and you're consistent. The concepts that you've been talking about, I've been doing some research about it, and I would like to get on your calendar. Here's my phone number. Someone I've never met. And this woman, she was an entrepreneur herself. She was in the IT business, very highly educated, master's degree, and but guess what? We scheduled an appointment. We talked, and boom, I helped her. Now I want to make this very clear, folks. Just because you watch me, don't mean you have to become my client. I mean, I think there's some people that I are friended, and we're just friends, social media friends we've never met. And there's some people I've met. So I don't want anyone to feel like they're obligated to become my client. No, 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 no. But I did make a post on Facebook, and my post says this. I posted that around 6 p.m. tonight. I said, I can only teach so much. At some point, you have to take some action. So, for example, action for some people might be a delayed reaction. There's some people who waited years. There's a good friend. As a matter of fact, the lady who just called me a little while ago, and I was talking to her on the phone, she was a referral from her sister, who's my client, one of my esteemed clients. My gosh, this woman, her sister, whatever I've recommended, she's done. But not her. She has another sister who I was friends with. I've known in 2 years will be 20 years I've known that other sister. And that other sister became my client for some stuff. But she didn't become my client when we talked about getting out of debt. This woman's highly educated, worked for the government as well. She has advanced degrees. But guess what? Her sister became my client on that. And then eventually she became. So there's sometimes people have to understand things for themselves. So I always tell people, my objective is to educate, right? Teach, educate, same thing. Pontificate, same thing. I teach you how to protect your income, eradicate debt, not consolidate it, but eradicate it, and then create legacies for yourself and your family. Someone called me today, it's tax season, and they had mentioned some things to me. They had some debt, and they wanted to know, they have a program with me. They wanted to know how they should go ahead and do this. And I gave them the advice. And there's some people I've given advice to who've never become my clients. As a matter of fact, there's people who call me, and they're not my clients, and I do give them advice. All right. Now, someone says, well, you don't charge them. I said, first of all, they can't afford me. I always say that. And what I mean by that is, yeah, I can charge someone a fee, and I can say to them, if you become my client, I'll refund that to you. But I'm not going to do that. There's people who want to offer me money. No. What I want to do is I want to make sure that you protect what you have. You invest in yourself. You pay yourself back. Like today, I was trying to explain to my client that the reason why the using of an infinite banking concept pays yourself back. You see, the banks, the media, and the government never tell you about these programs. They don't. You know why? Banks are doing it. And I don't know. I would, if I had, I'm not a betting man, but if I had to bet, probably 80% of those in Congress use these concepts. They use these concepts. And why is it that Congress was the ones who create those different 702s, the different IBC concepts? Because the reason why they did that was wealthy people don't like paying taxes. And you don't have to be wealthy like them to use the strategies that they use. So for those of you who bank with Chase and Bank of America, Santander, and all those different banks, man, look at their asset sheets. They use cash value life insurance as an asset that they don't have to disclose. They use that to fund executive compensations for retirement. But guess what? Guess what? When they use those funds, they access it cash free. I'm sorry, tax free. We call it tax favored. And you can use those concepts yourself. Now, if you're not sure, do your research. You know, do your due diligence, you know. Now, I always tell people, while you're doing that, stay healthy, because we're going to use your health as equity to create wealth. We're going to use your health as equity to create wealth. And God forbid, I've known people who have, I was just telling you about the woman who just called me, you know, and, you know, I said to her, one of the things I said to her is like, one of the keys of what I do is I don't like rush people or force them to do stuff. I show you what you're already doing. I show you how you're spending money unnecessarily and unknowingly, and I show you how to redirect it into an efficient concept. Now, these concepts are new to a lot of people. And when something is new, you're usually skeptical. And I don't get mad at you for that. But a wise person is going to do research. They're going to read more. You know, there's a guy, it's a tax guy. His name is Ed Slott, EDSLOTT, Ed Slott. Google him. As a matter of fact, I may have some videos from him talking about these concepts. There's a guy called Patrick Kelly. Since it said Patty's Day, Patrick Kelly. The book is called Tax Free Retirement. And I was talking to one of my clients today. You know, she reached out to me yesterday that she wanted to have an annual review. You know, and I told her I have an appointment at 11. You know, with some clients, and then she, you know, and this woman's been my client since 2020, I believe, or 2021. You know, and she's a PhD in public health. And she wanted to make some adjustments. And I said to her, well, let me tell you what you can do and why. And let me remind you why we created it. And this is the reason why you can go up or you can go down. And this individual, you know, was happy that, you know, they said, well, after this month, I want to take mine down, which is what they've been doing. And for 5 years, they've been doing it. Now, my point is, I don't get upset when clients do that because I've given them the options to take things up or take it down based on their current situations. So this client of mine, you know, has been building cash value for a while, and they're not retirement age yet. You know, when they retire, this client, I believe, is going to be 60 this year. And the new retirement age is technically 67. Some people do it at 65. Some people take Social Security at 62. But the point about it is, whether you have 401ks, a pension plan, a 403b, a 457, if you work for a municipality like a city or, you know, county, you know, if you work for a state, you know, you work for the federal government, you have the TSP, the Thrift Savings Plan. All those things are great. And like I was telling my client today, that only contribute to the match. And they said that's what they're doing now. I said, only contribute to the match. And sometimes, I don't know, that client, you know, when we do reviews or we talk, like, I reiterate stuff. And I don't know, sometimes I feel like, is my client just want to make sure my story is consistent. And it is, because whatever I tell you from day one is going to be the same story. Now, if you augment it or you change it, it may reflect how much more you have or how much less you have. And remember, don't be scared to get out of your comfort zone. I was talking to a client today, a potential client today, from my phenomenal event we had this past weekend, and they say they save money in banks, and I said, well, okay, good for you, but I'm going to show you a different option, a different scenario, a way that you can save it where no one can see it. You'll have access, liquidity, and control. Access, liquidity, and control. In your 401k, you don't have access to it if you're under a certain age, unless if you have some kind of disability or some special hardship case, you have to apply for it. If you're under 59 and a half, you don't have the liquidity is there, but you have to pay penalties, right? The access, you have to get permission from an administrator. So you don't really have access, liquidity, and control. And a lot of people who are not accustomed to having access, liquidity, and control find that what I'm saying sounds too good to be true. But if they do their research, all the wealthy people are doing it. The wealthy families, you think of any wealthy family in America, they're doing it. I remember I was talking to a client, young couple. They were like in their late 30s, early 40s, a few years back. They became my client. And when I showed them this concept, and they were a referral. Like I said, my business is predicated by referrals, because people always ask me, how much do you charge? And I tell them, you know what? Become my client and tell somebody about me. That's how you can pay me. And even if you didn't become my client, refer someone else to me. But it's going to be hard to refer somebody to something that you're not doing yourself. Good evening, Nadine Slaughter. How are you, darling? In the great state of Georgia. Hope you're doing well down there. Hope the weather's okay down there. It's important. It's very, very important, folks, that you have liquidity, control, and access, of your money. This individual I was talking about a second ago, that young couple, they had a couple of kids. They were referred to me by, a childhood friend I hadn't seen in like 45 years or something like that. And guess what? And the person who works with these big companies said to me, oh my gosh, I was never aware that they had so much money, so much billions of dollars in assets in this same concept. And I say, yeah, they do have it, but they're not going to tell you. They want you to come to them to borrow to buy a car, to buy a house, for college savings. I mean, not college tuition. I mean, student loans. They want you to, for personal loans, equity line of credits. They want you for that. And one of the things that's important to me, like I cannot tell you people's names. I can't tell you what I've done for people. I have a fiduciary responsibility to protect the innocence of everyone, and I do. I may say I have a client, or I talk to a client, or I talk to somebody, or man or female, but that's what it really is. It's not really actually me telling you anything, because I'm not telling you. And sometimes even the concept that I talk about here, just like I said, I can only teach so much. At some point, you have to take some action. You have to. You have to decide what is best for you and your family. And I don't care if you're married, if you're single, if you are divorced, if you're widowed, if you're a widower, if you're planning on getting married, if you're in between marriage, if you got like 15 different parts. I don't care what you got. I know you need to be financially fit, and you need to make sure you're using the right concepts for protection. Protection is not just for you. It's for your loved ones. And some people always tell me, "Oh, I take care of my mother or my sister or my brother, or my cousin back home, or my nephew over there, or the neighbor, or my side chick." I don't know what you're doing, but people, if you're doing that, who, if there's somebody that depends on your income, you need protection, income protection. So when I talk to people, like I got a text today from one of my colleagues. We're working with this counselor up north, up in Massachusetts, and we're talking about how to get them out of debt. They bought a house about 3 or 5 years ago. They got about 25 years, I think, left to go. And they've already told us in the budget what they can spend. And I'm gung ho, ready to show them how they can eliminate. I'll even show them the big picture. But I think it's only apropos and fair that we show you your big picture and show you how to eliminate debt by using a snowball effect and paying yourself back. And one of the keys that a lot of people don't realize when I talk to them is simply this. I tell them that if you're not paying yourself back and you're only paying the finance companies, you're doing yourself a disservice. I want to say welcome to Ms. Zenith Carter in Georgia. How are you, partner? Hope you're doing well. Watching on Instagram. And anybody else who's watching who didn't say hello, I want to say welcome to Tuesdays with Terrence. Folks, stop the madness. You remember Richard Simmons? When I was a little kid in Boston in high school, when I was like 13, 14, he was in General Hospital. Stop the madness. He had the little pum-pum shorts and his red tank top and he had his curly hair and he was exercising. Stop the madness. My point is, in your financial life, stop the madness. Oh, Nadine said, "Oh Lord, side chick." Nadine, when I'm talking, sometimes I say things to make my audience laugh because I do it to make them smile. But it's not a strange phenomenon. But I say that to make people laugh, and that's one of my strengths there. I think I'm a comedian, but I'm not. So I say stuff that sounds outlandish, but it's kind of funny sometimes. So getting back to the lecture at hand, making sure that you are having access, control, and liquidity is key. Like I told you, or someone called me today, and they're getting the tax return and they weren't, should they dump some money into an IUL, pay debt? And I give them some advice. And folks, learn the value of a 7702 tax code. That means an infinite banking concept, an IBC concept, where the wealthy and your banks are using those concepts to create wealth, and have, I don't know how to say it nicely. If some of you own property or own, I don't know, like lately it was snowing and someone fell down, they could sue you. They can find out how much money you owe in banks. So you have to learn the strategies of the wealthy. Do what they're doing. All those in Congress. The former President Biden, I heard, has about 5 or 7 of these. The guy there in the White House, he probably have a whole ton of them too. They won't tell you. Why would they tell you? They want you to be a slave to labor and a slave to taxes. But some people don't realize it's paramount that you change your mindset. When you change your mindset and you teach yourself, or I teach my clients, how to become wiser of managing money, what happens is that, one of the questions that I ask people, right? Like today, I was talking to a couple who attended our phenomenal event that we had this past weekend, where I had my business partner, Mrs. Sharice Richards, come and pontificate and spread the good news. I ask a question, and this is a question I always ask people. What keeps you up at night? Now, people think I mean like you got a headache or your arthritis. Or, that's not what I mean. Is debt keeping you up at night? Are you worried if something happens to you? What would happen to your significant other, your children, your spouse, your this, your that? And yes, Nadine, side chick or side dude. I'm not, but on a serious note, you know, what keeps you up at night? There's some people who don't have good night's sleeps. They don't have good night's sleep because they're restless about what they owe is credit card debt, or they owe car loans or mortgages. But my potential clients told me today one of the things they worry about is not if something happens. The husband said if something happens to him, that is his children and his family is protected. Listen, folks, I'm not opposed to you all doing all kind of investments. You all want to do mutual funds, stock, bonds, crypto, Bitcoin. You want to have a brokerage account, Fidelity, Charles Schwab. I don't care who you do use. I don't care. But what I'm saying to you is that a percentage of your money should be guaranteed. And that's the percentage of your money I want to work with. The percentage of your money you never want to lose. And even if you start contributing today, even if you were 23 years old and you graduate from college and you started a new job today, and let's say, I don't know, you're a big shot, you're shot caller, big baller. You're making $200,000-300,000 a year. You say, I can put $1,000-2,000 a month. I want to save that every month. Well, God forbid if something happens to you and you had a critical or chronic illness, you've only put away $1,000. But wouldn't it be nice? Like I ask my clients today, I ask them, do you know what your human value is? I know they don't know what it is. And I told them, don't worry that you don't know. When you fill out this financial questionnaire for me, I will tell you what your human value is. Nadine says, I love it. They need it too. Yes. So your human value, is something that I told you, a colleague of mine texted me today about a prospective client that we're working up with Massachusetts. Their human value is 3.9 million. That's their human value right now. But their protection is like 800,000. So that's a huge downfall. Huge. So back in the day, a lot of African Americans, or people who are marginalized in this country, were not really given proper financial advice. Remember, there was redlining, Community Redevelopment Act. Remember that? I was a young banker when I found out about the Community Redevelopment Act. The CRA was basically a rule where they literally drew a line. They drew a line on a map. And if you were like Hispanic, or even back then Asian or African American or Caribbean or Africa, they drew a line where you live. And they would systematically omit you from lending for mortgages. Not because you couldn't afford to, but they were legally doing that. It was called redlining. Now it's illegal now to do that, but there's still creative ways. Are you guys aware that the average net worth of a Caucasian is 168,000, and African Americans between 43 and 60,000? Now, it doesn't mean everybody has that. We talk about the average. When they talk about per capita, so the average. So if for all these years, this July, this great republic will be celebrating 250 years. We have countries like China's been around for 4,000 or 5,000 years, and in Africa and other places where people have been a long time. But this great republic here, I'm talking about United States, not the land, because people were there prior to that, right? Christopher Columbus didn't discover Jack; it was already there. But for 250 years, you know, what if somebody had 400 years of a head start over you? How are you going to catch up? How? Now, just because the country's been around for 250 years doesn't mean, you know, there's been people here from the Middle Passage back in the day. 400 years. 1600s, 1400s, when Christopher Columbus came, they found indigenous people. 1500s, 1600s, 1700s, 1800s. So 17, 18, 19, 20, 21st century. 400 years. So people have an advantage over you because they know, they were not discriminated upon. They were not given all the bad things that you were given. They had that over you. So how do you expect to be on the same footing as them? And this is my problem. They say if you want to hide something from people who look like us, melanin, us, put it in a book. I mean, there's a lot of people in America. The highest educated demographic in the United States is African American women. I had 3 appointments today. 2 of them two of them have doctorates. One has a master's degree and will probably get a doctorate as well in the field that they're in. And they were all Black women with Caribbean descent. So my point I'm trying to say to you is that, yes, it's Women's History Month and African American women are highly educated, but do they know the strategies to put in place? I don't care if they're entrepreneur. I don't care if you own a restaurant. If you do hair, you fry chicken, you do Uber, Lyft, I don't care what you do. Do you know the financial strategies to put in place to protect you? I was trying to explain to someone today. I was saying, why do you think wealthy people don't have 401ks? And I was telling, this, one of my clients today with who has a doctorate that, you know what? An IRA, you're capped in what you can put in. Then we started talking about the IUL that she has. I'm like, in your IUL, you can put up to every year, if you choose to, $96,000 if you choose to. You couldn't do that in your IRA. You're wrong. 401k. Although they jacked up the limits the older you get, 55 and over, but you're still lacking. You're still lacking. So, folks, it's paramount for Women's History Month. Like I told you at the beginning of the show, most of my clients are women, right? And if I was a woman, I'd probably be more successful, because I'm a dude, and sometimes some women feel a little comfortable. But I want everyone to feel comfortable. But if I was a dude, like my business partners who are women, I always tell them, like Nadine and Zenith and all of them watching Beaches and whoever, Sharice and whoever. Man, you all have no reason. If I was a dude, I'd want to see a woman. If I was a woman, I want to see a woman. If I was a child, I want to see a woman. If I was the old person, I want to see a woman. Use that. Use your womanhood. Use your natural skills that God gave you as a nurturer to nurture and teach and educate and formulate, plans to teach people strategies. Like I said, educate, teach, pontificate, all of those things. You can do it. So tonight, this is my closing statement to each and every one of you. If you're on the fence, or if you're not sure, or if you've changed your mind, reconsider. Reconsider. And even if you're not 100% sure, you're not ready, do some more research and let's talk. Let's decide. Let's show you. Sometimes, what one of my strengths is? One of my greatest strengths is knowing what I don't know. When I don't know something, you got to dumb it down for me. Now, if we're talking sports, like in football, I know what the different fouls are. Basketball, baseball, I know the rules. Financial services, I know some stuff. But if you're going to talk to me about IT or Excel or, I don't know, certain things that I'm not good at, medical and stuff, you got to break it down for me. And I'm saying to some of you, don't let too late be your cry, but don't let your pride or don't let it be that just because you don't fully understand something and the concepts don't make sense to you, you know what? Let's keep going, rehash. It's like, you ever play an instrument, you didn't get the song, you practice till you get it. You play the guitar, you practice till you get it. You may make mistakes. But I would rather you put something in place and you didn't understand it than you wait too long and then it's too late. I would rather that. So tonight, as we close, because I try not to go over an hour. Sometimes I go over an hour if I get good feedback from the people. But tonight, if you're a woman, right, and you need some help, if you're a man and you need some financial help, if you've heard some of the things I've been saying, but you don't really get it yet, let's work with you. Like that lady who called me tonight, I went to her house like 5 times already. And finally, we put something into place. So I show you the urgency, but I want you to make sure you're comfortable with the decisions that you're making. So what I'm saying to each and every one of you, tell somebody, listen, I told you, like, a prophet is not welcome in his own land. That's why I brought my business partner, Sharice Richards, to come to my church to talk. Because some people are just not going to do business with me because they know me. And some of my colleagues bring me to them with their clients. So that way you get to, because remember, to my family and friends, I'm just H. I'm just Havis. I'm just Terrence. I'm just Mr. Bardui. I'm just, not even Mr. Bardui. I'm just Havis or Terrence or Bardui or H or little boy or Luca boy. That's all I am. But when one of my colleagues bring me, I'm a licensed financial pro. And that's why I play my song,
Battery high.
every night. When we
Fire
close,
solid
a
camera.
licensed financial pro. So you guys understand. So listen, folks, don't let too late be your cry. If you're not sure, I can only teach so much. At some point, you have to take action. You want to lose some weight, but you don't want to go to the gym or exercise or change how you eat. You have to take action. You want a job, but you want God to provide, but you won't go out there and search on the internet or ask around. Come on, man. Faith without works is dead. So tonight, as we close, I want to thank each and every one of you. Sorry, I was my daughter's song. I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in to Tuesdays with Terrence tonight. If you heard or you like what you heard tonight, share this. Listen, folks, and even if you, like some of my business partners who are on there, right? Sharing this doesn't mean that people are going to call me. Have them call you. And you don't know, I'll help you talk to them. If it resonates with you. If it doesn't, it's okay. I never force anybody. I just want you to know I'm grateful that on a Tuesday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you could tune in. I want to say hello to Lucinda, Bardui, Alfred, my cousin all the way in Dominica. Welcome. And all the others who are watching. Some of you did not say your names. It's okay. Whenever you don't put your name, I can't give you a shout out. The question is, get financially fit. Is your foundation solid? Change the trajectory of your life or your retirement, of the things you can do. I think if you have 10 years to go, you have a lot of time. It's not a lot of time, but you do. You can put a plan in place. If you have 20 years, you ball it. You got 30 years, you shot calling. You got 40 years, you're the done dada. You're the Mac Daddy because you got a lot of time to go. And if you already in your 60s, You still need protection for critical illness, chronic injury, Alzheimer's, Lewy body dementia. If you're younger, fertility journey, if you can have problems conceiving, folks, let me tell you all, this is no joke. I don't take this for granted. I love what I do. I take great pride in it. I'm going into my 7th year now. Every Tuesday for going into 7 years, I get on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, X, YouTube. You know,
Awesome.
eight different platforms. So as we end, and my client is calling, I want to tell you guys, thank you for tuning in. God bless you. Hasta la vista. Peace. I'm out.